Rafa, sorry for being late.
No, she told me about the program. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon. Rafa, it's been anything but a quiet start to the season. How do you reflect on the last week?
I think that we know where we are, and we know that the way to move forward is just keep doing our job every day, every training session with the team, and trying to do something in the market to move players out and to move players in. But it's just carry on with a normal business, because we can say what we want, but the window is like this, the market is like this, so we have to stay calm and keep working hard behind the scenes, trying to do our job.
Have you stayed calm? Have the players stayed calm after Sunday? Because I would guess you were all feeling pretty frustrated after losing that one.
Yeah, no, but in terms of obviously we are disappointed with the result, but in terms of the performance, the team was doing what we were trying to do. We were practicing during the week, and just the sending off, the two injuries and the sending off changed everything, because with the two injuries you couldn't manage in the second half with substitutions, and the sending off changed everything. But in terms of the effort of the team and the thing that we were trying to do, we were more or less where we wanted to be, and then now we have to improve in some areas to be sure that we are stronger, and also we play against one of the best teams in the league.
Mike Ashley did a very rare interview on Sunday evening. Can I ask your take on that?
I said after the game that I'm just concentrate on trying to improve the team that they have available. So I don't think this will change anything, what I think, he say this or that. So the reality is that we are now ready to play the second game of the league, and we have to prepare the team as well as we can.
He made it clear in his interview that funds were little, there wasn't too much to spend. Were you aware of that beforehand?
What I said, he knows what he told me, he knows what I was thinking, and I am in contact with Lee Charnley every day, even before to come here, just in case if we have any news. So we know where we are, and we know what we want from now, and then we will try to do our best.
Can I ask you about Jonjo Shelvey? Obviously, I guess he'll be very disappointed in the sending off. He said that he's seeing a psychologist to try and help him with his issues. Will you and the club try and help him through this situation?
Yeah, obviously he knows that he made a mistake. Everybody agree with that, and then he's the first one that he wants to change things and he wants to improve. So he's working on that. We have been working on that, but still it seems that we will need some time.
Yeah, he worked so hard during the summer. He's told us a couple of times. You can see it in his body shape as well. He's lost a lot of weight. Is it just the mental side, you think, that he needs to now work on?
Yeah, but it's something that you cannot predict or prevent, because you are working on that, but then this situation that you are not expecting is, well, you have to keep going, giving the right message and working on that. But in the end, it depends on just 1 second during the game that he loses his control.
Can I ask you about Huddersfield, who obviously you play on Sunday now? Obviously you finished above them in the league last season. But do you feel, as a result of the summer transfer activity, they've perhaps become a little bit stronger than Newcastle?
Well, we'll see. I think it's the league is 9 months. Always we compare with a marathon. Then we are already starting. They have spent some money. They have signed around 10 players, I think. So obviously it will be a different team from the team of the last season. With a similar situation, they have nothing to lose. So always when you talk about Newcastle United, people are expecting that, oh, you have to be in this position or the other one. When you talk about Huddersfield Township, we have to do well and see where we are. So like last year, they were doing really well because nobody was expecting that they have to be there. So it's an advantage for them, but at the same time, I would say we know that it's too early, and then we have to finish the transfer window. Hopefully we will know all the players available, the squad that we have, and then little by little we will see the real value of every team.
So you think currently, right now, probably more is expected from Newcastle than the other two promoted teams, Huddersfield and Brighton?
Yeah, obviously it's the first time that they are in the Premier League, so there's nothing that you will not see. Every fan will realise that Newcastle United is a big club that has to be there, and Brighton and Huddersfield, they are fantastic clubs that they are already there, and if they stay there, everybody will be over the moon. Cheers.
Just following on Rafa from Keith talking about Huddersfield, were you surprised at the manner of their opening day win against Crystal Palace?
Not really. In terms of the approach of the game, we knew them from the last season, and I think will be very similar. The difference is that if you can score early and then you have more confidence and the other team feel the pressure, or if you concede and then the doubts are in your head. So in this case, I would say they have nothing to lose. They approached the game really well. They score goals, and they were playing even with more confidence. So I think it's important to understand that this 9 months that you have to play a lot of games, and at the beginning football depends on the momentum, and then maybe now they are with a lot of confidence, and it will be even more difficult for us.
And like you mentioned before, of course, Huddersfield's first season in the Premier League. I think it's 45 years away from the top flight as well. The crowd are going to be up for it on Sunday. Is this going to be one of the slightly tougher tests of the season on the road?
You never know. It's too early. It's too early, so you will go to play games top side that normally, will be very difficult to get the result. But in this case, because it's at the beginning, because they did really well the other day, and the expectations are very high, so it will be tough for sure. How difficult, I will tell you in 6 months if it was the most difficult or not.
Just one on Jonjo Shelvey, of course, from Sunday. How does this latest indiscretion affect your selection of him in the future, if at all?
Well, I think that we will have some time to keep working on that and be sure that he understands. I think he knows, so it's something that it depends on him, it depends on the people around. So if imagine that we win 3 games in a row, so we will not be talking about the team selection. Maybe we will be talking about how many times can you repeat the team. So you never know. In this case, we have some time. We will deal with the situation later on.
And obviously, he's a very, very popular figure around here. How have the players reacted to him on the training pitch this week?
No, in terms of, they know he's a good player and it's important for us. But at the same time, they understand and they try to help him. But at the same time, they know that he's important and then he has to behave, he has to do well.
And just a quick word on the latest signing here at Newcastle United, Joselu, £5 million, a snip in the modern day market, I suppose. Tell us a little bit about the qualities that he's going to be bringing here to St James's Park.
I think that you have seen him playing with the Stoke, not too much, but he's a player that has experience also in the Bundesliga. So it's not that he's coming from Spain and that's it. He's a player that has been playing in top leagues and he has some experience. He's a strong lad, he's good in the air, he can score goals, he can link with the teammates, so he has a lot of potential. Now we have to try to be sure that he will give us everything and we will exploit his potential.
And of course, the latest signing for Newcastle United. How many more do you feel that you need to get in before the transfer window closes?
Obviously we have a lot of players that we have to move out if we want to move in, so it depends how many we can move in one direction or the other one. But now it's too early. Just wait and see if this work behind the scenes is good, and we can move players out, and then it will be easier to bring players in.
And just a final one from me, Rafa. I know Keith mentioned about the interview with Mike Ashley just last week. He mentioned his ambitions of a mid-table finish. How realistic do you think that is this season?
My focus now is to win on Sunday, to get 3 points, and a little bit later see where we are.
Cheers. Rafa, talking about the Mike Ashley interview, I mean, is it the case that the transfer kitty you're working with is smaller than you expected, or the price that players are being sold for is more than you expected, or a bit of both?
Because we cannot change what is going on now. What I have to do now is forget about what we say, what he said, what we think, and concentrate on what we can do now. What we have to do is to be sure that the team is ready for the next game and ready for the next the next difficult games that we will have.
And in terms of the injuries that you had to Lejeune and Paul Dummett, I think weeks rather than months, but nevertheless, has that complicated your thinking with regard to who you will need to bring in?
No, in terms of what we want to bring in, no, because we knew what we wanted. In terms of the numbers, the players that we will have available in defence, yes, but in terms of the market, not too much.
Obviously, talks with the Premier League clubs about the transfer window and should it close before the season starts, complications with other countries in other parts of Europe, but are you one of those managers who would just like to know exactly where you were at the start of the season, or with business still to be done, are you quite glad it's still open?
No, I think we have to finish as soon as you start the competition. So if we can do that, you know the players that you have available, and then you start working with them. And I can give you an easy example that a lot of fans, they will understand. You can be working today with some players, and then you will prepare your set pieces, you will prepare your game plan, everything, your tactics, and the next week, maybe one of your players will be in the other team. And he will know everything about your team. How can you work on that? So you cannot. So if you are working in the media, and then you're working today here, and you know all the secrets, and you have the exclusive, all the news, tomorrow you will be in another TV or whatever, and then you have all the information. So I think you have to finish, because if not, it's a nightmare.
First game against Tottenham, you played most of the second half with 10 men. The second game's against a newly promoted club. Clearly, that's probably not going to tell us much about the gulf between the Championship and the Premier League because of the nature of the two games.
Yeah, I think it will be totally different for them. For us, it's another league, another season, another expectations, and new players. So a lot of different things, but at the same time, I think that we know more or less, and we know how they play, and they know how we play. So I think it could be just an indication of what will happen in the future. Maybe not, because I said before, it's too early. So, but if we do well, fine, because we'll have more confidence for the next games. If they do well, so obviously they will have more confidence, even more confidence now.
Finally, from me, I mean, Newcastle fans do seem quite realistic about your prospects for this season. I mean, nobody's sort of talking about top six or anything like that. There does seem to be a realism about what you've been able to do in the transfer market and what you might be able to achieve this season. Yeah,
I think that the fans, they have experience, and they know what is going on, and they know how difficult it will be to achieve what everybody was expecting at the beginning. So now we will try to go as high as we can in the table, but we have to go one game at a time. So we cannot be talking too much. It's just say in English, no, you have to walk the walk.
Rafa, how is the squad looking ahead of this weekend's game? Any injuries?
No, we have the problems that we had after the game. The rest of the players are training with little things, some of them, but at the moment everybody is available. We will see tomorrow with another training session. The mood is quite positive, because the team was working very hard, and they knew also that Tottenham was a very difficult opponent. So we will see if we can keep this mood after the game.
With the absence of Jonjo Shelvey this weekend, does that possibly give you the opportunity to give the likes of Mikel Merino a taste?
Yeah, obviously when we brought Mikel was with this idea to compete, especially maybe with Jonjo, because both players, they have some quality, they can pass the ball. So we will see if everything is fine tomorrow. I think that maybe he will have a chance, but the competition in this position is quite hard. You
talked before about the fact that Brighton and Huddersfield, it's their first seasons in the Premier League. It isn't Newcastle's. Does that put you under any more pressure as a manager? Do you feel any more pressure because of that?
No, as a manager, no, because I was expecting that could be like this. So what I have to be sure is that I make less mistakes than others, trying to maximise the potential that we have.
Just last one for me. Very tragic incidents in Barcelona in the last 24 hours. I just wonder what you make of it all.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that not just this one, because there is another one. So we have to condemn that, and then to regret that all these things that are happening now. So I think it's really important for us to stick together to help, and then how can you help this in this situation is just give as much information as you can, in this case the people that has been there.
Does it sadden you though that it is your home country?
Yeah, no, and I have friends there, so I was phoning a couple of them to be sure that everything was fine. So at the moment it's fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rafa.
Cheers, thank you.